I wanted to make a quick video about plant products or products for plants, for houseplants, that I find really useful, and I think you would probably as well. So I'm gonna just get into it. So all the products that I mentioned, maybe not all of them, most of them, if I can find them, the links for them on Amazon will be down below because I did get most of these things on Amazon. I'm gonna start off with this. And now every person who has ever talked about plants on the internet will tell you about this, and they will probably have this specific one because it's the most common model I've seen online, and it is essentially a moisture meter. This one is a three-way meter, so it measures moisture, light. Oh my god, there's a fungus gnat, and I will get into that after this. Oh my god, they're so annoying. Anyway, it measures moisture, light, and pH. I only really use it for moisture. You can find one that is just moisture. Sometimes I do see about light, but I mainly use it for moisture. And this is super useful, especially now that winter is coming. Overwatering is a common issue for plant people who aren't used to the switch from summer to winter seasons, when you need to water your plants a lot less, and pots that are bigger as well, it's kind of difficult to tell how moist the soil actually is deeper down by the roots, and you don't want to drown your plants. So this is a really good tool to help you understand soil moisture and what your plants need. When I use it, I usually water my plants only if it's in this red zone here. So it means that the soil is really dry. I like to dry out the soil between waterings for most of my plants because they really appreciate that. It helps with root rot and just like things like that, to not drown your plants. I wasn't gonna mention this now, I actually was gonna mention this last, but since there was a freaking fungus gnat flying in my face, sticky traps. These yellow sticky traps, I bought these specific ones on Amazon. They were quite cheap. There were 2 packs like this, so there are 40 sheets like this. They're double-sided, so there's sticky things on both sides. There's obviously this plastic film that you need to take off. And I have found this to be super effective. I have these kind of in a couple of places near my plants, but especially I have them inside. You can barely actually see it right there, those yellow blobs there inside the glass enclosure for my begonias, because that's where the fungus gnats are like living. And I put these sticky traps in. I should actually change those out because they're really full and it's kind of gross, but it will definitely help you deal with some of your fungus gnat problems. I hate fungus gnats, they're so annoying. Literally one flew by my face and I was like, alright. I've heard about something called Mosquito Bits, but I've never actually tried it out. But this is definitely helping me manage fungus gnats. They come with these little sheets like this, and they also come with these wire things that you can use to hang onto the plant. Or I use these, which are little stakes that you put this inside here and then you put it into the soil. Yeah, I usually cut these in half. The only downside to these is that they are bright yellow, and I kind of hate that, but you can kind of hide it in your plants. It's not that of an eyesore, you get used to it. I put them usually behind the plant so you don't really see them, and it's worth it. I don't think you can get any other colors than yellow because I think them being yellow is part of how they work. I'm not too sure about that, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's why all of these are fucking yellow, no matter what brand you get them. But these ones specifically I have found are very effective. So if you're looking for sticky traps. Next up I have this, which is just a little temperature and humidity meter. So of course, my videos are inverted because I'm an insecure bitch. But yeah, up here you have the temperature, and down here you have the percentage of humidity. And I find this really helpful to see what environment is around my plants, so how warm they are, and the humidity, because my humidifier does not have an automatic sensor. It's nothing fancy like that, not yet anyway. But so I find this very useful to know when to turn on and off my humidifier, and stuff like that, and I never let my humidity around my plants get lower than 50, absolutely not. Right now it's 75. It's usually between 60 and 70% depending on the time of day and stuff like that. If I remember to turn off the humidifier, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but that's around the category of what I keep my houseplants at. Nice, it's very small, very compact. You can place it wherever. This one specifically, it has a little backing so you can make it stand, or it has this little hole here, but you could hang this on a wall if you want to keep it somewhere. I usually move this around. I only have one of these. You could have several if you have multiple places in your house where you want to know the temperature and humidity, but this one adjusts quite quickly when it's moved around. I'm pretty sure with this button you can change it to Fahrenheit. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it's just a nice little thing to have. So I mentioned my humidifier. It is this one right here. It is actually full, so it's a bit heavy. So I'm not gonna actually pick it up, but it has a capacity of 2.6 liters, so it is an upgrade from what I had before, which was 500 milliliters. It was quite inexpensive for the capacity, but it's also a relatively simple humidifier. It is bottom filling, so that's not always convenient. Although I have never had problems with it leaking or things like that. I know that bottom filling humidifiers often have this problem where they leak from the bottom because some malfunction of the sealing when you close the lid or something like that. This one I have never had that kind of problem. But yeah, it's nothing fancy, but it does its job. But yeah, this is the lowest setting. You'll already see it here, and this is the highest setting, and on the highest setting it's like a lot. So it's not very loud, and I would recommend it. At its price point, it's a pretty good deal, I'm pretty sure. At least it was when I got it, which was a while back now. Eventually I will upgrade to a better humidifier, but for my purposes and for my usage, it works really, really well. So this may be an option that you can consider. In general, just having a humidifier for your plants is really good. Most plants love humidity. Most plants that you have as houseplants are tropical plants, so they like warm, humid climates. So having a humidifier will probably help them grow and thrive. The next thing here I have is this water jug with a water filter. Now this is a super nice thing to have for more finicky plants, especially because I'm not about to go out and buy distilled water. I don't have any plants that would actually require that to that extent, and I found that having a water filter jug is a pretty good alternative. It is a lot cheaper in the long run. It is obviously not as purified as distilled water, but it will help your water be less hard and filter out some of the minerals and things that plants sometimes just don't want or need. So this is a really cheap option. The jug itself, I think it was like, I bought it at my local supermarket. It was like 5 euros or something like that, and then per water filter it's like 2 euros. And the water filter, I have to change it every few months. That will depend on your specific filter and jug. So yeah, you can find these really cheap. I'm pretty sure you can find this on Amazon as well, if not in your local supermarkets. I really recommend having this for your plants because even if your plants aren't as finicky, sometimes it's nice. I don't always use this for all of my plants, but I definitely use it for when I'm bottom watering and for my more finicky rare plants like my anthurium and things like that that would risk getting crispy edges or not liking my tap water because they're bougie bitches. And of course I have a spray bottle. This was one of the first plant things that I ever got for my plants before I got a humidifier. I still don't own a watering can. We have one here at my house, but I've never bought a watering can for my plants, and I never use a watering can for my plants. I usually unscrew this and water it with this, or random jars, or sports water bottles that I have around my room. If you don't have a humidifier and your plants aren't that finicky, you can spray them several times a day. It's a really fun activity. I really enjoyed doing that, especially when I just started collecting plants. I don't really do it as much anymore because my plants don't really need it. I have to say that you need to remember that this does not raise the humidity permanently, it's a temporary effect. However, your plants will definitely appreciate it over nothing. So getting a spray bottle like this is Yeah, you can get these for like €1 somewhere, $1, whatever, you know, it's really cheap to find these. There are really super fancy expensive ones, but you know, you can definitely find these for really, really cheap. Oh, and finally, this is not really a product, but collect random jars. Like, save glass jars. Anytime we have an empty pickle jar, an empty jam jar, a Nutella jar, whatever it is in a glass jar, I wash them, take the labels off, and I use them as propagation jars. It is... yeah, you can also propagate in things like glasses or buy fancy containers for them or just use cups or things like that. But I think that like this is a nice way to reuse stuff. There are also some really, really nice jars. I've literally sometimes bought things like I usually buy canned peaches, and once I bought peaches in a jar just because I like the jar. Another thing I wanted to say is that you can find a lot of plants and plant things on Facebook, on the Facebook Marketplace. So just go onto Facebook Marketplace, set your location, the area where you want to look, and I guarantee that someone will have something that you want for your plants or a plant that you want. Not always, not all the time, but I have found so many cool things on Facebook Marketplace. I've literally seen people sell like 20 pots for like €5, and it's like large ones at that. Or people sometimes are giving away things for free because they're moving away. This doesn't apply just to houseplant things, by the way. Facebook Marketplace is a really nice way to get a lot of things for cheap. I have gotten several plants off of people of Facebook Marketplace. I have made plant friends because I have met people who are selling or trading their plants, and that's how I discovered their collections as well. So that's a fun way to maybe also find a community around you that has the same interests as you. But yeah, Facebook Marketplace is a really good resource and I 100% recommend checking it out. Anyway, I've been rambling on a little bit, but yeah, those are some of the things that I really use and I like and I find really useful, so hopefully you do too. I'm sure that I've missed something. If you have something that I haven't mentioned and you think is a really good plant product or product for plants, leave it down in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video. Other than that, that's it. That's the video.